So they've let me out of the workshop, so I've come down to Winter Nats 2014, come to check out all the mobile guys we're supporting. Let's not wait any longer, let's go check it out.
There comes a time in every year, a magical time, a loud ear-splitting time, an octane up your nose for weeks time. I still have tyre rubber on my face time. That's right, we're talking about the one thing and the one thing only. The 2014 Winter Nationals. Tonight's episode comes to you from Willowbank Raceway, and as always, the long weekend event doesn't fail to impress. National time and speed record legend Steve Ham of the East Coast Lubes team has invited us along to see behind the tarp, so to speak, to show us the inner sanctum that is top-end drag racing. We'll follow Steve's journey competing in the coveted top alcohol funny car category, and fellow East Coast Lubes Chris Sankey completing in modified. So sit back and enjoy our long weekend of drags action. The team arrive early on Friday morning. While Willowbank usually does its best to pour down over the Winter Nats weekend, so far the weather looks clear and sunny, much to the joy of both East Coast Lubes team and our camera crew. Once the truck is unloaded, it's time to fire up the funny car and run through everything. And I mean everything. Happy that the car is in full working order, we steal Steve away to talk about the weekend ahead.
Okay, I'm Stephen Ham, I'm from Brisbane, I'm 36 years old. I'm a sales manager at RD Williams Excavator Parts, and this is my hobby basically. We've been racing in this class top alcohol since 2009, so 5 years now. And we're slowly, the first few years, we were learning the ropes, and in the last few we've been getting better and better, and we're trying to have a go at the championship this year. Since 2009, we were the first car to go 550 back in 2009, and then since then we've had 2 runner-ups and we've come 3rd in the championship, and we weren't travelling the full season then, so this season we're travelling all the rounds. We're currently sitting in 4th, but there's only, I think, 50 points between the top 4 cars, so it's tight. It's going to be very close to the championship. So we started off in Perth in January, then we come back here for the Easter round at Willowbank, then travel back to Sydney, and then back here for this event, the Winter Nationals in June, and then next month we travel to Darwin, and then back to Sydney, and then maybe to Melbourne. So yeah, the truck and trailer's doing a few Ks this year, so it's all good. Can't remember exactly when, 2011 maybe. Aaron Hambridge dragster blew a line and crossed straight over, and luckily didn't take us out, but yeah, not too many close calls, touch wood, so just try and keep it fast and consistent. And so this is a top alcohol funny car. It was built in America by Yahara. We've had this car since 2007, I think we bought it in from America. It was second hand at the time, but it hadn't done too much work, so the car is pretty much in its original condition from when we bought it in. We've made some safety updates to the car just to stay on top of modifications that they make in America, and I try and implement it here, if they're good ideas. At the front we've got the dry sump oil tank, which supplies oil to the engine. On this side we've got the fuel tank. This is the fire system, so if the car catches on fire, if something happens and it blows the supercharger and the car catches on fire, then I've got a manual system that I can activate this, and there's sprayers all around the car that will then extinguish the fire. So on this side I've got fresh air system, so basically that's the main bottle, and then there's a hard line that goes back into the cockpit, and I've got a line that plugs into the helmet, so I just regulate how much fresh air is going into the car and into my helmet, so I've always got fresh air. On this side it's a CO2 bottle, and basically this is supplying air to the gearbox so I can shift between first and second and second and third gears. Also runs some of the fuel management side as well. This is usually enclosed box, but all the race pack data acquisition and electromotion command module, which does all the fuel and ignition timing. The engine's a 511 cubic inch TFX billet Allen Johnson block with NRE X1 cylinder heads. You've got a 44 amp magneto and a PSI D series supercharger. And that's running at 125% overdriven from the motor. So to give you an example, it's spinning 22,000 RPM on the run. So this is a titanium clutch can. It's enclosing the clutch. It's a 10.7 Crowd that's in there now, 3 discs. So there's 3 discs and 2 floaters. So that we replace each of those packs every run, which takes us around half an hour. The clutch has got a lock-up cylinder as well, so it helps further down the track. We locked it so we make the clutch sure that it's not slipping anymore. You've got a 3-speed CS1 Lenco transmission, and it's shifted here by these air buttons. So basically the car is always in first gear all the time, and then a shift to go the 1-2 shift, and then the 2-3 shift. So I don't run a tacho in this car, so all I have is 2 shift lights telling me one for the stage launch RPM and one to actually shift the engine when it's around the 10,000, 10.2 mark. You've got a 34.5 inch Hoosier rear tyre. So in the rear end here, it's a strange 9.5 inch top loader is what they call that diff. It's basically derived off a Falcon or a Ford 9 inch diff. The carbon fibre brakes. On the ground here we have the parachutes already packed. And at the back is the wheelie bar. It's quite critical where you run the height of this bar. You'll see us checking that before the car goes into full stage, because we've got a few different settings that we use, and that helps to get the car moving early. So they're only fine adjustments, but it can mean make or break. All right guys, we're going to have to get the car ready now, so I'll see you out there at trackside.
All right, Steve, we get the hint. We'll leave Steve to get ready for the first round of qualifying. On our way out, we bumped into one of East Coast Lube's very own Phil Richardson.
Well, ECL have been sponsoring Steve for quite a number of years now, and we're very proud of that relationship. Steve is a really good advocate for the Mobil product, and ECL is the distributor of Mobil oil in Queensland and in the Northern Territory. So yeah, it's been an ongoing relationship and one that we're really happy with. And one of our own employees, actually, a guy called Chris Sankey, he's over the way. He's in a smaller car. Yeah, and we sponsor him as well.
We'll catch up with Chris right after the break.